Welcome to your 7-minute postpartum core exercise ball workout. Let's start seated on the ball with a hand on our belly and a hand on our heart, breathing deeply into the fronts, sides, and backs of our belly and lungs. Inhaling, expanding, and exhaling, contracting, gently pulling belly inward. Inhale, expand, and exhale, contract. Then we'll come down to kneeling by the ball, and we'll slowly come down to hips on heels. Exhale, press up, squeeze glutes, and inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift up, squeeze glutes, inhale down. Exhale up, inhale down. Exhale, rise, and inhale, lower. And one more. Exhale, lift, and inhale, lower. Very nice. Now let's come to seated on the ball and scooch down so the ball's on your lower mid-back. Let's take our fingertips to the lower rib and the hip point, and this will help us keep that core engaged. First, we're going to raise up onto a toe and then the other toes. Very good. Exhale, lift, raise up, and keep your breath flowing steady. So lifting heels, coming up high on the tiptoes to slowly begin to engage lower abs. Inhale, exhale. And now readjust yourself on the ball if you need to. I know I slide down a little bit, so I need to readjust myself for these ball marches. Hands can come down on either side of the ball for more stability, and we'll exhale to lift and inhale to lower, alternating legs one at a time. Go as slow as you need to for stability and control. Exhale, lift, inhale, lower, exhale, lift, inhale, lower. Beautiful. Now roll down so we get a good chest stretch here, and you can rock from side to side. So feet are a little wider than hips for good stability, stretching that back, and then we'll come back up to seated on the ball. So rolling that ball back so it doesn't roll away from you. Have a seat on the ball, and let's do some side stretches. One arm inhales up and over, and then the other arm. Resting your lower arm on your thigh for support. Nice wide stance in the feet for stability. Inhale, lift, and exhale, over. Beautiful. Stretching through the side body, stretching the shoulders, breathing steadily. Inhale up and exhale over. Nice. Now let's go into some little ball circles. Working our hips and our pelvic floor. Working that connection to our core. And now let's reverse the direction and take the circles the opposite way. Breathing steadily. Circling slowly. And now we're going to stand up and grab a ring if you have one for your ball. Place your ball in the ring or someplace where it will not roll away if you don't have a ring. Come to seated on your ball, and let's do a forward stretch. So depending on your mobility and your hips and your flexibility, you might be able to come down all the way, or you might need to keep your forearms on your thighs and come down about halfway. And wherever you are, if you want, you can slowly shift your hips from side to side. This really helps to stretch the lower back and bring good mobility to your lower spine. So this is the modification with forearms on thighs. And everybody will be different at this point. So you might not want to come as far forward, and that's okay. So slowly exhaling and sitting up. And then we're going to slide back down on the ball once more and do some arm circles. So your bottom can touch the floor if you want. And we're just going to circle that arm like we're doing a backstroke. 3 times. Breath is steady. Once again, working shoulder mobility and the movement of our rib cage here, which is super important for core and pelvic floor. We want a mobile rib cage. And then we'll reverse and do 3 times in the other direction. Breathing nice and steady. All right, now other side. I like to keep my hand on my belly so I know that I'm breathing steadily in and out. And ribcage and pelvis are very closely connected. So when we breathe into our full rib cage, our pelvic floor is going to function really well. So keep that in mind. 3 times forward, 3 times back for those shoulder circles. And then a big heart opener here. Big stretch for the chest. Breathe deeply into this stretch. Maybe rock from side to side if that feels good. Coming to standing, we'll do a standing forward fold with a leg march. So bending one knee as we straighten the other leg. Resting our forehead on our hands on the ball. And then we'll take one hand to heart and do a twist. So the elbow reaches up to the sky and the hand stays either on the heart or the rib cage, depending on your mobility here in the upper spine. And then we'll exhale to roll up. And we'll do the same movement on the other side. Start first with those marches, forehead on hands, straightening one leg as you bend the other knee, and breathe steadily. And then we'll bring hand to heart or rib cage and do those rib cage rotations. Beautiful. Reaching the elbow up toward the sky. Keep your breath steady here. Very nice. And now let's come back to that forward fold. Bending knees and lengthening legs. Bend and lengthen. One more time. Breathing steadily. Swaying hips from side to side. And then we'll come back to seated on the ball once more and end with a little heart core connection, breathing in for a count of 4 and out for a count of 6. And do this breath 5 times. Slowly in for 4 and slowly out for 6. In through nose, out through mouth, like you're gently blowing out a candle. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this 7-minute postpartum practice.